Hey, what is up, you guys? You Pixeled here, and welcome to a new speed build video on the channel. So today we are building something a little bit different. It's really not a community lot or a house. I just wanted to build something a little bit different. Okay, I just wanted to build something a little bit different, something that I've had in mind for quite some time. I wanted to build a video game studio, where they make video games, I guess. Now I got the inspiration to do this build because I recently watched a documentary on the PlayStation YouTube channel on how they made the 2018 God of War. And I don't know, I just kind of wanted to build a video game studio after watching that documentary. And I really like how this build turned out. I really, really, really like how this build turned out. I hope you guys like it too, because it took me quite some time. I think I worked on this build 3 days. I think this was like a 3 day project, which is weird because usually builds only take me maybe 1 to 2 days at most, because a house doesn't take that long to build. And a community lot maybe takes 2 days to build, depending on how big it is. But this build took me like 3 or 4 days to do because it's pretty big. It's a pretty big build. And also, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what kind of style I wanted to go for. And I also didn't know if certain things would make sense, because obviously I've never been in a video game development studio building, whatever you would call it. So I don't know if everything that I built or added to this build makes complete sense. Like, obviously I added the desks where like the programmers or the devs would sit. I also added another area with a whole bunch of desks. And like, okay, so in my mind, I don't know if this is how it works in real world development studios. But I have a section in this build where I would imagine that that's where all like the devs work, or like the people who work on the gameplay and stuff like that. And then I added another area a little bit separate from the main area, where I would imagine that that's where the art department is, the people who work on assets and stuff. I don't know how video games are made, okay, guys? I really don't. But there's this one area where there's a bunch of desks, so I would imagine that that's where, the main devs work. And then there's a separate area with like what are they called? Those boards. It's not a whiteboard. I think you just stick things to it like a you'll see. There's like this board where like Sims could go up and like attach things to it, like photos or something. And I added that there so maybe the art department could work together and see what works, what doesn't. I don't know. I really, really like how this build turned out. I don't know if it's accurate. It's probably not. But I had a lot of fun working on it, so I think that's all that matters. I also added a mocap studio, like a little motion capture studio. I don't know if the room I made for that is accurate at all. Because, okay, so obviously I play video games on my PlayStation 5, so I mostly pay attention to like PlayStation news and stuff like that on Twitter. And recently, Hideo Kojima, he is a video game creator. What is he? He's worked on games like Metal Gear and obviously Death Stranding. Is he like, he's a video game director, right? I don't know. But the point is, he's very famous in the video game world. And sometimes his tweets pop up on my news feed on Twitter, and he's working on a video game right now. And he sometimes posts pictures of the mocap room that he's in. And it literally looks just like a giant white room with a lot of white blinding lights. And I guess that's where the actors go in and perform the motion things. So that's what I added in the mocap room in this build. It's just a giant white room with cameras, bright lights, and I also added like stickers on the floor, because I do remember seeing the behind the scenes of, I think it was The Last of Us, how they did The Last of Us. And they while they were acting, they had like plastic I'm losing my train of thought. I'm really losing my train of thought. They had plastic props and like plastic things on the studio floor, where they would like pick it up, and in the game it would look like they're picking up a bottle, but in real life they're picking up like, I don't know, a bar of soap. I don't know. You guys know what I mean. So yeah, I hope this build is accurate. It probably isn't, but I tried my best. So yeah. So yeah, here is where we start working on the motion capture room. I didn't want to get rid of the windows because I thought it would look weird from the outside, so I just added white curtains. I added TV screens to the wall, so maybe that's where they look to see if everything looks good in the game. I don't know. I hope I made this fairly accurate. And then I also added those desks where I think that came with Get Famous, where you could like record YouTube videos. I added those desks there. Maybe that's where they edit some stuff. I don't know. I just wanted this to look as close as to what I saw on Twitter. Hopefully it looks accurate or good. I don't know. Honestly, this whole entire build is just a guessing game. Like I said, I've never been in an actual video game studio. Hopefully one day, hopefully one day, because that would be awesome. I would honestly love to spend a day at one of PlayStation Studios' buildings, because I want to see, what a day in the life of a video game dev is. It's probably boring, but I also feel like it could be fun. I don't know. I find video game development very, what's the word? Very interesting, and like, I don't know, I think it's such a cool job to have. I know it's not an easy job, but I think it's a really cool job to have. I don't think I would ever be able to do that, but hats off to the people who make video games, because that's fucking awesome. So as you can see by the front desks, I added a fence, and in my mind, I would imagine that when an employee comes in, they swipe their employee badge, and then the fence opens and they could just walk right into their office. Because, obviously you don't want just anyone to walk into this place, because, video games, they're very secretive. You never know what a studio's working on. So obviously you can't just let anyone walk in here. I think that's kind of accurate to how it works in real life, because I think during the God of War documentary that I was watching, I think they were near the front entrance of the building, and I remember looking in the background and I saw this like giant sign that said no recording or photography beyond this point. And I think, that's because obviously they don't want anything to leak. So I don't know. Instead of doing that, I just added a fence where you would have to swipe your employee badge to enter. I don't know if that's what they have to do in real life. They probably do. I'm fairly certain that they have some security measures. So yeah, that's why I kind of added that. And I know that there is a back door that doesn't have a fence, but I would imagine that that door is constantly locked. So only employees could actually walk in through there, and maybe the front door is unlocked for like visitors or something. So if you actually wanted to enter the building, you need to swipe your employee card or whatever. But if you're just a visitor, I guess you talk to the people at the front desk, even though I don't know why a video game development studio would need visitors to come in, because I do add a waiting room. I don't know why a place like this would need a waiting room, but you know what? I added one anyways, because it kind of made sense for the space that we had out front. So yeah, I don't know. I highly doubt that video game development studios have waiting rooms. That just doesn't make sense, but whatever, I added one. Now, I might be completely wrong, but isn't like video game programmer or developer, isn't that an actual career in The Sims 4 that you could do? I think it is, but I could be wrong. Um, because if it is, that's cool, but I don't know if your sim actually goes to a workplace or if it's one of those careers where your sim goes off to work while you watch the house, basically. I don't know. But I think that's one of the careers. But I'm not sure because this build would be perfect for that, but I don't think that if that is a career in the game, I don't think that's one of the careers where you get to like go off to work with your sim and interact with people and stuff. I think it's just one where you send your sim off and they do their own thing. Yeah, I should probably look into that. I should probably look into that. And also, I don't know what I'm going to upload this on the gallery as. I don't know if I should upload it as a residential space or as a I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of I don't knows in this video, okay? I don't know if this build is accurate at all to what an actual, you know, dev building looks like, or I don't know if, that is an actual career in The Sims. I don't know a lot of things, okay, guys? I don't know a lot of things. Something I do love about this build, though, are the cubicles. I really, really like how the cubicles turned out. Because, in all the documentaries that I've watched about, game devs and stuff like that, when they show off the office, everyone, like every studio has cubicles, which I mean, I guess makes sense, but for some reason, I don't know, I thought everybody just had desks out in the open, but it looks like a lot of studios have cubicles and stuff like that, which is cool. I really like that. And I really, really like how these cubicles turned out. I love the three monitors, the little table on the side, and I was able to use a specific half wall trim that I've been wanting to use for a very long time, which is that half wall trim with like the glass, like the little windows on top. I've always tried using that. And it's never worked out. But I finally got to use it, and I really like how it looks. Also, I really like the color scheme I went with. It's very dark, dark browns, dark grays, blacks, but I think it looks good. And since I wanted to inject a little bit of color, I added a lot of plants everywhere. So there's a lot of plants in this build, especially the plant wall things. I use that a lot. I don't know. I wanted this place to be like dark and moody, but I also wanted it to have some color. And I've noticed that in a lot of like modern builds, if you add a lot of plants, that's a good way to add color. Also, I decided to add some awards on these tables because, video game developers and stuff like that, they sometimes win awards for their video games. And I feel like I added too many awards, but at the same time, I think it's fine. It's not unrealistic for a game developer to win so many awards. I think, if I remember correctly, The Last of Us Part 2 won over 200 awards in 2020 or 2019. No, I think it was 2020 that they won over 200 awards. So it's not unrealistic for a game developer to have so many awards everywhere. So I added a couple of tables with awards. I don't know, maybe this studio here makes awesome games. So now we are working on the break room, lunch room. I don't know exactly what to call this room. I think it's, lunch break room. I don't know. But obviously, since I've never been in a video game development studio, like I've mentioned before, I don't know exactly how these break rooms usually look. I'm pretty sure they probably look very boring. But I didn't want it to look too ugly, so I made it look pretty nice. So, it's a nice chill space for the employees, snacks and all that sort of stuff. I like how it looks. I like how it turned out. I didn't want it to look too boring, and I also didn't know what appliances to add. Obviously, I didn't add a stove. I do add a microwave, but I wasn't sure if I should add a full fridge or if I should have added a vending machine, but I added a full fridge, why not? Also, normally I feel like a wall of leaves would look totally out of place, and I mean, you wouldn't be wrong, it would look out of place, but I think it makes sense in the context of this build, and it also looks nice because I've noticed, in movies and TV shows or in, architecture magazines, I guess, when you look at, newly renovated or newly built office buildings, usually they have a giant, like, wall of leaves and stuff like that and plants. And I got curious and I actually Googled it. It's called office green walls. I don't know. It says something about office green walls and living spaces, and I don't know. I guess it's supposed to make you feel better for working long hours at the office. I don't know. But I've noticed that a lot of like corporate buildings, especially modern ones, have added that. And I kind of wanted to add that here too. I do add more of those walls, especially in the waiting area because I had no idea what to add there. So yeah, I added those walls everywhere. I really like how they look. I do wish they had more swatches though, because I think when you change the color, you could only change the trim. I wish you could change the color of the actual plants, but you can't. So that sucks. So the two offices upstairs, they're basically identical. I did change a few items on the shelves, but they're basically identical. I would imagine that that's where like the head of the studio, maybe like the CEO or something, that's where they would sit and have business meetings and all that sort of stuff. So I added two offices upstairs and I didn't talk about it because I was talking about something else. But on the first floor, there is like a recording studio. And I guess that's where the voice actors would go and record their lines. And I did add, like, I think a guitar and a violin down there too. So maybe that's where, the people who work on the video games music could record that too. So yeah, there's a lot in this build, There's all the desks, the motion capture room, the recording studio, the offices. I really like this build. And a loud motorcycle is passing by my house. Sorry if you just heard that. So the desks that I'm currently working on, that's what I was talking about when I said that there were a separate, you know, cluster of desks. And that's where I would imagine that the art department would be. So there's a development area, which is like the main large area, and this tiny area is the art department. I don't know if that's how they actually do things in, video game development, but that's how I decided to space out this build, and I hope it makes sense. I hope it looks good. I don't know. I mean, it totally doesn't even have to be that. There's just two large separate groups of desks. So I thought, why not separate them that way? Art department and devs. I don't know. I don't know. It's just I didn't know what to put up there, so I said, "Hey, why not add more desks?" And I felt like I needed to come up with an excuse as to why there was a group of people separated from the other developers, and I said art department, so it's the art department. Also, now that I'm looking at it a little bit better, the waiting area looks very, very cozy. So maybe it doesn't even have to be a waiting area. Maybe the developers, when they're tired or they want to take a break, they could just go out there and chill. Because, yeah, they could chill in the lunchroom or the break room, but maybe you don't want to be cramped in a small break room, so you could just chill out there with the big windows and have some fun. Or you could go to the backyard, and I do place some seats back there where you could just chill and stuff like that. I don't know. I would love, for the employees here to have, a wonderful work environment. Especially, I don't want to get down, but if you watch the news, if you watch gaming news, you would know that in real life, some game studios don't treat their employees all that well, which is so sad. I'm looking at you, Activision Blizzard, and also Ubisoft. Yeah, some studios out there, they don't treat their employees all that well. And yeah, whoever works here in the build I'm making, they're treated fairly and very, very good. But yeah, it's devastating. It's very devastating. I hate when I hear news about employees being mistreated in work environments. It's not cool. It's not cool. It's not cool at all. Cool at all. Wow, I can't even speak. Also, this is the longest voiceover I have done in quite some time. I mean, it's 22 minutes long. This is like literally the longest voiceover I've done in a while. And I'm currently dying because obviously, I live in a busy street. So since I'm doing a voiceover, I close my window because I don't want you guys to hear traffic. And also, I can't keep my fan on because obviously you guys would hear that sound too. So currently my window's closed and my fan is off and I'm currently dying. And also today was a pretty warm day, so it's kind of warm in my room. Even though, this is weird. My room is naturally warm even in the winter. I don't even have to turn on my heater, which I don't at all because I love cold temperatures. Like, I'm not even kidding. In the dead of winter, I sometimes fall asleep with my window open because I love cold temperatures. I love the cold. I really, really love the cold. I remember when I was like 10, me and my mom moved to Florida for 2 years. Like, we just lived there for 2 years, and I hated every second of it. I hated every second of it. Because I live in upstate New York, so I'm so used to cold temperatures. And the funny thing is, I'm Puerto Rican and I hate warm temperatures. Like, I was literally born in a tropical island and I hate warm temperatures. But to be fair, I was born there, but I was raised in upstate New York, so I think my body just loves the cold temperature. I don't know. I don't know. I hate warm temperatures. And also, I'm a big fella, so I think that's another reason why I don't really like hot rooms. Yeah, it's very annoying. Anywho, here we are at the screenshots. I honestly hope you guys liked this speed build because I had fun working on it. Also, this build does have bathrooms. I just didn't show them. I just cut it out because they're just boring standard bathrooms. But yeah, if you guys place this in your build, in your game, I wonder what you guys would do with it because, I mean, this build is pretty useless. I just did it because I wanted to. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye.